That's one, yeah. What was the score for the both? I can't remember.
Surrey all won there.
All right.
2 goals from their winger.
So that was Michael Doyle, was it? And then after that was Gateshead, and we lost there, and that was the end of Michael Doyle, really.
I can still hear them in my ear, which is a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, a very good afternoon and welcome to the Jakeman Stadium. Woking make the trip to Boston United this afternoon in the Vanarama National League. A struggling Boston United side who have faltered since winning promotion last season from the Vanarama North, but are in their best form of the season. Woking themselves, though, haven't lost in 5 and find themselves 5 points above the relegation zone. They will want to start picking up more wins instead of draws to ease any concerns between that gap. Well, Neil Ardley has made 2 changes to the side that drew 2-2 with Southend United. Out go Tariq Hine, suspended, and Timmy Odesina. In come Jermaine Anderson and Denon Lewis. So the side from back to front: Will Jaskalainen in between the sticks, Adam Chickson, Chinwiki Okoli, Tunji Akinola and Dion Kelly-Evans across the back line. In the midfield roles, Dale Gorman, the captain, Jamie Andrews and Jermaine Anderson. Out wide, Harry Buteman and Denon Lewis. And leading the line today, Ine Effiong for Woking. Of course, playing in the white shorts, white socks and the famous red and white Woking strip. Plenty of Cards fans here, and what's a long journey here to Lincolnshire. Boston United have named an unchanged side this afternoon amidst their good form. Cameron Gregory in goal, Brad Nicholson, Zach Mills the captain, and Connor Teal across the back line in a 3. Jay Rowe and Cameron Green in the wide positions as wing backs. Jordan Richards and Dylan Hill in the midfield, with Frankie Maguire just in front of them and leading the line. Their potent goal scorer Jacob Hazel and Jimmy Knowles, the man that scored so many goals for them last season, guiding them to promotion. Left for Accrington, finds himself back on loan here at Boston United. A healthy crowd from both sides, plenty of Boston fans packed in around us amidst their struggles, and the Card fans are making their noise felt in the away end as well. It's going to be a cracker today, you have to say. As I mentioned, Woking unbeaten in their 5 games, 3 of those being draws over the last 5, but of course picking up the victories against Solihull and Dagenham in those last 5 as well. Boston United find themselves cut adrift really in the relegation zone and need to start finding more points. Both sides just taking in the huddles at the moment. Boston United wearing their amber and black strip, black shorts, yellow socks. And it's going to be Boston United to get us underway as all the pre-game music gets cracking here. Cameron Green's going to be the man that gets us underway for the Pilgrims. As I say, Woking setting up with 4 across the back today, 3 in the midfield, and the sort of wide players. Denon Lewis coming into the side, always such a hard-working wide player. Harry Buteman as well has found the net many a time this season. 7 of those coming in the league. Feels very theme park vibes here at Boston United. Some of the noise that we've got
very dramatic music, isn't it? Very.
Ian Nicholson alongside me for the game today as we get underway. Boston United against Woking in the Vanarama National League. Have to say, a lovely day for it. Bright blue skies cast over the Jakeman Stadium here. Proper March day for football. Spring has started.
It's lovely here, isn't it? It's a great setup. I'm first time at Woking. I've been at Boston for over 20 years, and this new ground is a great setup. Really like it.
Yeah, if you've not been to the Jakeman's Community Stadium, it's one of the new sort of facilities, all a similar size. 3 stands at the moment. The 4th stand just being waiting to be completed, but we're in the big old main stand at the moment. Is a nice facility as Boston United get the first throw in of the game, arrowed in towards the 6-yard box, bobbling around in the box, and Harry Buteman just looking to try and get it under control. Didn't fully. It's Nicholson that plays the ball inside for Maguire. Chance here for Boston United. Buteman tried to challenge him. My apologies. It's a bit of a dangerous one there sometimes when you go to ground and they shift the other way. Beautyman could have caught him but didn't. Boston United were just the first flurry, but Woking getting the ball clear of danger.
Quick start from Boston. They could easily have let that ball go out for a corner and chose not to, but the cross in was easily cleared, and now with Chickson with the throw back to Akinola.
Jaskalainen has the ball at feet then, and for Gorman, who's dropped deep inside the D. As Woking just looked to advance the ball forward. It's a bit of a quick approach from them. 3 at the back for Boston today, so going to be quite a lot to break down for the Cards. But as I say, there is a lot of insecurities to sort of exploit here for the Cards. Boston United, as I mentioned, not on too bad a run of form at the moment, but do have some big defensive frailties. They've conceded many goals this season.
Right,
so
yeah, they certainly their form has turned, and they had a good win at Dagenham the other week, and I think a 0-0 draw, and so on. So the few wins and draws coming in as well as losses, but as you say, they need to get a lot of wins to really begin to move up the table.
Most certainly. I suppose Dagenham, one of them teams that's maybe looking over their shoulders a little bit at the moment with the recent form.
Most definitely.
As a goal kick then sent out to this near side by Cameron Gregory over halfway. Jamie Andrews goes up for it, doesn't win the header, and Jacob Hazel can hook the ball long and hooks it out of play for a Woking throw. Then level with the 18-yard box just right in front of us. Adam Chickson, the experienced fullback, is going to be the man to take it. Just a couple of options on making themselves known here for Woking. Andrews the closest, Denon Lewis, who you can't miss in his bright pink boots here on this near side. Given straight into Hazel there, a bit sloppy from Denon Lewis, and chance here for Boston United with Maguire trying to get the ball inside the area. Maguire tries to put the cross in, it bounces off Chickson and straight back to Maguire, and it comes from Jay Rowe, who's advanced quite high up the pitch for United, and out it goes for a throw. Frankie Maguire maybe been the live spark in these early exchanges for Boston, but so far he's put a couple of low balls into the area that Woking have dealt with nicely straight out of the 6-yard box.
And Nicholson here with another long throw, no doubt, and it was a very long throw.
Yeah, and it comes in from Nicholson just shy of the 18-yard line on this near side. It's a looping throw. It could sometimes be a bit dangerous, that one, and Will Jaskalainen is a clear push there.
Well spotted by the referee. Woking very much down to the bare bones today. They've only got 5 on the bench, and a lot of who would normally be first choice players not featuring, and but it's a good squad, so all the players starting have something to give. It's just whether, but the strength in depth probably isn't there. Rowan Ince on the bench, which is first time he's been around for quite a while. Good to see him getting back to full fitness.
How do you assess that, Ian? Because as you mentioned, it is a strong starting 11. There are some names on the bench, but when it gets to this stage of the season, and maybe there's a few tired legs, games coming thick and fast with not as many names on the bench, is that a concern when you get into the later stages of the game?
Oh, definitely. When you have injuries, and Woking have last 10 games, 8 of them have been away, and so it's been lots of travel, and really grueling is the word that keeps being used. Lot of games, but after today, Woking only have 5 away games left, and they 5 away games left, and only one of those is a long trip, which is Oldham. All the rest are quite nearby. So this is the last, apart from the Oldham one, the last long trip for quite a while, and Woking can begin to see if they can turn their home form around.
Yeah, I think the away form will be one where Woking is certainly wanting to pick up a little bit, though. The Neil Ardley and the players, just the 2 wins away from home this season for the Cards. Boston United themselves have been very poor on home turf, so a mixed match in this one. Not missed anything over the last couple of minutes, a couple of stray passes, Hazel not being able to get it under control, and it's a throw in on this near side for the Cards. Dale Gorman then looking for a sweeping ball forward. It's a beautiful ball, a little bit too much on it, but the right idea as Denon Lewis looked to shoot off behind the Boston defensive line. But we've seen that so many times this season, haven't we? Dale Gorman just picking the ball up inside his own half. Great vision from him to try and slot through, but this time
he's had a very good second half of the season, and
he has, as Jay Rowe then advances forward here for Boston, looking for the ball across, but it's easily cut out in the end by Dion Kelly-Evans as Dale Gorman plays the ball square inside, and now Harry Beautyman dropping deep to take this one in. Kelly-Evans, good one-touch football this from Woking, and just as I say that, Dale Gorman gives it away, but Boston United not being able to get it under control via Ethan Hill, and Adam Chickson's forced back by Ethan Hill, who was harrying away at him. Quite a high tempo in this one, to be fair. No goalkeeper tested as of yet, but a lot of runs in behind from both sides. A couple of loose passes, maybe you let both sides down in this early exchanges.
Teams know how Woking like to play now, so they're pretty aggressive press there on Will Yaskalainen and the defenders, but managed to get the ball clear.
They did, and it's a Woking throw inside the Boston half, 10 or so yards into it. Dale Gorman's picked it up right in the centre of the pitch, 10 or so yards into the Boston half, spreads it out wide for Kelly Evans, who's advanced quite high up the pitch. Now inside for Jermaine Anderson, out on the far side here, almost level with the 18-yard box, but Woking are forced back over halfway into their own half. Sustained bit of pressure this here from Woking. Hooked ball down the line by Dale Gorman, and unfortunately Jermaine Anderson just ghosted into an offside position. It's the right idea, but Boston just moving the defensive line quickly up there, and Jermaine was just caught out on the 18-yard line. So Cameron Gregory going to be the man that steps over for this. Finds himself inside the sticks now for Boston. They've had plenty of keepers over the years, but he's the man that finds himself as the Boston number one at National League level. Of course, been out of this level for some time. First season back, and they'll be wanting to make sure it's more than a one-season stay, but not at the Cards' expense today. As a challenge goes up from Tunji Akinola, who wins the header. It's hooked out wide for this near side for Frankie Maguire, who gets the ball in towards Hazel. Well, all over the back of him is a Coley. Chance to turn here for Hazel, but he can't get it under control. Maybe been the story of the Boston United number 9's game so far. Gone into a couple of areas, but not been able to get it under control. Just doubling up on him though, the Woking defence in Coley and Akinola here though. Been good defending so far from the centre-back pairing. As Coley goes up there then. Big dominant centre half is Akoli, of course, coming in on loan from Millwall. Knows this level.
Yeah, scored a cracking goal at Southend, and feel he's really beginning to fit into this Woking side, getting opportunities to play. He's had good spells in the past at clubs like Bromley, I think, and maybe even Sutton, but it's he's really fitting in a bit now.
Most certainly is, taking it in his stride. He spent the first half of the season at Sutton, who are back in the National League now, of course, after last year's relegation from League 2, but now finds himself at Woking, the 21-year-old.
He had a nightmare start, got sent off in his first half of his first appearance for Woking, but and also Woking have no depth at all at the moment in centre back. There's been so many injuries, so Odesina and
Mazionis, who came in,
both injured.
18-year-old, a dominant figure though, 6'5", Mazionis, the Lithuanian. One of the centre-backs we were just mentioning there. As Cameron Gregory then with the goal kick for Boston. It was a diagonal one from left to right. A couple of Boston heads went up. Nobody could make a connection. It's out for a throw-in just in front of us. Once again, Adam Chickson going in, just a couple of yards to the back for Akinola. Oh, it's a strong 50-50 there from Chickson and Rowe. Both players honest, straight back to their feet. Big 50-50. Woking came out the better of it. Dale Gorman sweeping it from left to right with Dion Kelly-Evans. Back to Gorman. Level with the base of the centre circle on the right-hand side. Akinola can charge out of the fence. Does and finds Lewis, who's in a central position at the base of the centre circle inside the Boston half. Does well there, Lewis, to shift his body weight. Picks it back up. Now switches the play out wide for Kelly-Evans. Woking with a dangerous chance here. Chance for shoot for Gorman. First real sight of goal for Woking in these opening exchanges, 10 minutes or so. Fell for Gorman on the edge of the area. He struck it, but a crowd of Boston bodies in front to clear danger. Chickson has the ball up halfway inside the Boston half. Back for Andrews. Good sustained bit of pressure this from the Cards. As Boston in quite a good shape though, as Jamie Andrews forced to try and hook the ball into the centre. Effiong was the target, who's just speaking about players who of course had an impact since they've came in here, and Effiong certainly had that since he arrived to the club.
Yeah, Eddie Effiong's a very experienced player now at this level, and has scored a few goals, which he always does. Big presence off the pitch as well, and sort of a bit of a talisman, I suppose, up front, and particularly at the moment gives Woking someone to play off.
Yeah, most certainly, and an experienced figure that offers a lot up there. Gives you something different dynamic in as a centre forward. 34 years of age, 6 goals since arriving at the club. A big number 12.
Dylan Lewis has been playing quite central. He is wide at the moment, but he has also been breaking down the centre quite a bit, which he can do. He can do. I've seen, he scored
had a couple of flurries in them areas, hasn't he? He's picked the ball up sort of at the base of the centre circle, and people just trying to find him once again. Boston United ball coming off the linesman on this near side there. Boston trying to get play underway very quickly, but Hazel adjudged to have his foot on the pitch, and in the end the ball's found itself in 3 different hands and finally is back into the pitch. Boston United looking for a slide ball pass through the centre, but Woking in a very good defensive position to pick that one up. Bit of a loose ball out though, as Boston still like to put a little bit of pressure on. A few groans from the Pilgrims fans around us, with a little shove into the back of Akinola there from Jimmy Knowles. As Akinola then sprays the ball out. Bit of a dangerous ball that Dion Kelly-Evans can't fully get control of, and here's Ethan Hill just striding into space for Boston. Now inside for Knowles, level the 18-yard box on this near side. Back for Hill, looking for options inside the area, finds Maguire. Lots of bodies back for Woking inside the area though, and it's a lovely touch and clearance from Dale Gorman. Very calm and composed there as the ball came in at pace once again from Maguire. Down the line from Chickson, who will be disappointed with that one. He didn't have all too much time there as there's players coming towards him, but a man of his experience will be disappointed with a short range pass.
The positive is it's not a panicky kick away and hope, but it was a narrow angle and he really couldn't keep it in, and Boston back on the front foot.
They are, as the ball comes in then. J. Rowe the target, nodded on, looked like it took a nick off a Boston man, but as Buteman looks to knock it on then. Lovely little touch inside by Effiong, who looks to hold the ball up, but in goes captain Zach Mills. It's out level on halfway.
Buteman scored a cracking goal midweek. Lovely goal, and he's been on top form for Woking, certainly since Christmas.
On it goes then. J. Rowe knocks it on for Jacob Hazel inside the area for Boston, looking to twist and turn, but once again 2 or 3 bodies just caging the Boston number 9 in. Out it goes. Effiong's going to try and race onto this, but it's nicely gathered in midfield by Ethan Hill, and in the end it was Connor Teal that looked for the ball down the line. Harry Buteman putting his foot high and hard in front of it. Out for another Boston try. They've had a succession of them on this near side in the opening 13 minutes of this one. As Jamie Andrews just hooks the ball clear towards Effiong, goes down under the challenge. It was a 50-50 here. Some strong words from Maguire to Jamie Andrews here, and looks as though Andrews has given them back. It was a 50-50 challenge. Maguire slightly with his studs up. Andrews went down under the challenge, right underneath the referee and linesman's eye line. Don't think there was all too much malice in it, but sort of caught him a little bit late there, Ian, and a few words from Maguire from Andrews.
I think to be fair to Maguire, he did get quite a bit of the ball there, and obviously it was a foot hung out, and Andrews obviously felt he was caught. He's making that point to Maguire, but it's he didn't overdo it, got straight up, and free kick to Woking. Chickson to take. Actually, Akinola to take. Actually, Jaskalainen to take.
Yeah, Jaskalainen just taking it about a yard inside the pitch on this near side. Jaskalainen then goes right down the line towards the box. It's a long sweeping kick. Effiong nicks it on into the hands of Cameron Gregory, who bowls the ball out quickly. No messing around from the Boston number 1. Goes down the line then by Green, looking for Jacob Hazel in behind, but good defending by Tunji Akinola, getting in front of Hazel. There's Andrews then. Out to Chickson, who's got some space to drive into here. Knocks it wide for Lewis, who, as Ian mentioned, is just all around the pitch today. He's going into the centre. He's drifted out wide over this last 5 minutes, which could become a bit of a nuisance for the Boston back line. Might be a way of averting that back three a little bit, having a roam in Denon Lewis in this one. Jermaine Anderson's carried that one quite far then, about 15 yards inside the Boston half. Back for Gorman. Kelly Evans has advanced far forward as well. It's a lovely sideball ball inside for Anderson. Chance in the area for Woking here, but pass just a little bit light as they look to get it across, and out for a throw-in though.
Yeah, good move forward there by Woking, but as you said, Anderson's cross really a bit soft and easily cleared by Boston, but Woking back with the ball.
Lovely ball spraying from right to left then to find Chickson. He can try and arrow a ball into the box, but a confident header away by Zach Mills. Can't get it under control though, Boston, and Woking regain possession. Strong challenge by J Rowe though, skips to his left and sends the ball long. Hazel's the target, but once again Akinola has his number. Hazel though holds him off in the end, and Maguire was the man that picked it back up. Andrews with the tackle, but only as far as the Boston man out wide. Swings the ball into the box, a bit of a dangerous chance this for Boston. Rowe picks it up, sprays it across the area, and once again lovely first time touch from Gorman, nice and composed as the ball came in at pace on the ground. Quite a dangerous flurry that from Boston, going from right to left. Just, I think the Pilgrims target to try and flash them balls low across the area. So far Woking have had all the answers to it, as Teal looks to bring the ball out of the fence then. Inside for Rowe, sweeps the ball into the box. Kelly Evans takes it down with his chest very nicely. Out for Beautyman, who's in a central position. Forced back 5 or so yards though, and a bit sloppy there from Woking, who give possession straight back to the Pilgrims. It's Ethan Hill out wide to Cameron Green then. Probably the best spell of the game so far this for Boston United as they advance into the 18-yard box again. Chance to shoot this for Cameron Green, and first real proper shot at goal there for Boston in this one. Yeah,
cut inside well, but shot cleared the bar comfortably and went into the wasteland, which is there for another new stand at this new stadium, but at the moment nothing there.
Yeah, right over the stand in behind the car park, waiting for that one to be built here, Boston United. I think they're waiting for a bit more funding, a few different little bits going on here. But as Ian rightly mentioned, a nice new community field stadium. You get a few of them, don't you? York City with a similar one up in Yorkshire, albeit with the coloured seats up at York. As a ball goes right from Jaskalainen over to Cameron Gregory then. It's bobbling around inside the Woking half. It was Jimmy Knowles that went up for it, who's quite a towering figure. Got quite a big attacking line here, Boston, in Hazel and Jimmy Knowles, but so far been contended very well with by Akinola, and Akinola slotted into that defensive position very nicely today.
Yeah, two central defenders who are probably quite used to it. They're not small themselves, particularly Jimwike Akinola. So
ball coming down the line then this time for Boston, but cut out by Woking. Chickson looking for the ball long. Zach Mills just tries to hook it clear, ends up on his back, but Boston do well to keep it in, and Jimmy Knowles is charging it down. He's got Akinola for company, but Knowles has done well to shift his body there. He's got it in for Hazel, chance to shoot it for Maguire! Oh, it's a save by Jaskalainen to push it onto the post, to the bar, sorry. Strong effort right down the throat of Jaskalainen from Frankie Maguire. Not still fully clear here for Woking as Rowe looks to swing the ball in. Andrews hooks the ball away, and the best chance of the game coming just then from Maguire. He sensed if he hit it left or right, there's a big chance there for Boston, but Jaskalainen getting a strong hand to it to tip it onto the bar. Still remains Boston 0, Woking 0, 20 minutes into this one at the Jakeman's Community Stadium. Could save that one by Will Jaskalainen, especially with a couple of bodies in front of him. A strong effort from Maguire, but I suppose Jaskalainen will say it was right down the throat.
Yeah, it was at him and hit with real power, and he managed to get his hands to it and just divert it up onto the bar and back out, and Woking were able to clear, but a lot of Boston pressure now. Yeah,
Boston have gone through the gears quite a bit over the last 5 or 10 minutes and putting Woking under more pressure at this moment in the game. Just 20 minutes into this one though, as Green looks to switch the ball from left to right. One in the air though, Gorman takes a swipe at it, and it's not clear here as Boston get the shot away again. And wasn't an offside position there though as the ball came in, and Woking probably just need to settle things down a little bit here and try and get their foot on the ball a little bit more in the wider positions. Boston have just, whenever the ball's gone through the middle, Boston seem to be picking that second ball up a little bit more and creating the quicker counter-attacks, but so far to no avail. Save from Jaskalainen, some good defensive work from the two centre-backs. I think Maguire's probably been the live spark in this one so far.
He has, he's been very good, and Woking struggling to get quality ball in midfield.
Sent then by Jaskalainen out to this near side. Effiong's the target, knocks it on towards Lewis. Zach Mills is going to go up with him, but Lewis wins it. Plenty back for Boston though, and J Rowe hooks the ball out of play. Going to be a throw in for the Cards on this near side, about 2 or so yards inside the Boston half. Chickson opts to go back for Akinola then, who looks across the defensive line for his partner in Akoli. Some square passes going on here for Woking. Jaskalainen picking it up for Akinola. Ball inside the Woking 18-yard box. Akinola just putting himself under a little bit of pressure there on the ball, dragging it back, dragging it forward, and Boston just sort of caged him in a little bit, and they have the ball out on this near side, level the 18-yard box. 1-2 between Rowe and Hill. Hill wants it back. Looks as though he's drifting into an offside position though. Good tackle from Andrews, making sure Maguire knows where he is after that earlier incident. And Kelly Evans drags the ball inside for Gorman. It's halfway inside the Woking half here then. Looking for the ball down the line here for Effiong, who's racing on towards Mills. And lovely moving ball, but he's let himself down there, Mills. It was a brilliant turn to get himself out of the fence, but gives it straight back. Denon Lewis just trying to forge a shooting opportunity. Dangerous chances for Woking with plenty of white shirts in the box. Jermaine Anderson could fire it. Jermaine Anderson does, and it's a strike that's still not fully clear. Woking now had a second chance, and it's in! Woking lead! The first goal of this one, and it's Harry Beautyman. Brilliant strike initially from Jermaine Anderson. Cameron Gregory couldn't keep it under control, and from a very tight angle across the box, Harry Beautyman finds the bottom left-hand corner, and Woking have a lead inside 25 minutes. A fantastic finish from Beautyman here.
It was. I'd love to see that again. From our angle, it looked a very tight angle. As you say, Jermaine Anderson got a good sharp shot on, which couldn't be held by the keeper. It rebounded. Harry Beautyman was on it, turned and stabbed it home, but it's very tight angle, and Woking with their noses in front, and really need to build on that. Boston will be very frustrated because they've had a very good 10 or 15 minutes and a lot of pressure, and but isn't that often the story when you're a struggling side? You can play really well, and then things go against you. So Woking with their noses in front, away from home.
As Ian quite rightly mentions, Boston have had the lion's share of the ball over the last 10 or 15 minutes, trying to get that ball inside the area. Woking have stood firm to a couple of chances, and then they get the ball up the other end, and Boston leaking a goal inside the first half an hour. And it's that man Harry Beautyman once again, his 8th goal in the National League this campaign, 12th in all competitions. It's been a great asset for the Cards this season. Of course, he can play in that attacking midfield role. He drifts out, he's playing out wide today. Drifts around in that attacking position a lot, which is always good to have players that can play in various different positions.
Yeah, he's a great number 10. He does flow. He so as you say, he drifts around, given quite a free role to pop up, and quick feet, and given a chance, he's got an eye for goal.
I say Beautyman's playing out wide. It's sort of been a bit of an interchanging wide position so far today. Jermaine Anderson's drifted out there quite a few times so far, and Beautyman's been in the 10, and then it's been sort of vice versa. Both of them linking up there though, and being in the right place at the right time after that Anderson shot. Here he is once again then, the number 23, Anderson, finding Beautyman. Got their tails up a little bit here, Woking, as Gorman takes the ball in. Wasn't the easiest ball to contend with. He came in with power. Adam Chickson looks to head it in. It's Effiong there! And very close to a seconder, Woking. Just had to hold our breath for a second as Effiong headed the ball into the ground, a proper striker's header into the ground, and it was a beautiful sweeping ball across the area from this left side from Adam Chickson. Effiong won the header, as he so often does, and from close range nods the ball just wide. Boston 0, Woking 1.
Yeah, you have to say the most impressive thing about that was Adam Chickson's ball in. It was beautiful, swept in, curling. Effiong leapt, had a great header, and I think will have wished he could have done better with that. It's a great ball in.
Cameron Gregory then the goalkeeper for Boston, sending it long. It's once again won by Akoli. I have to say, massive credit to the two of Akoli and Akinola, who really haven't lost anything in the air so far in this one. It's been the balls in on the ground that have been the problems really for Woking so far, but here come Boston once again. Cameron Green looking to get the strike away. Did take a nick off a Woking man, I believe it was Gorman, and out for the corner on the far side for the Pilgrims, right in front of the Cards fans, who, as I say, have travelled in decent numbers today.
Yeah, it's a good journey, and there's been 8 of Woking's last 10 games have been away, so there's been a lot of travelling for Woking fans, and but a good number here today.
It's going to be Frankie Maguire to take then for Boston. Arm up in the air, looks to swing it in. In it comes towards the 6-yard line. It's headed away confidently by Effiong, who came all the way back for that one. Out for Jay Rowe, who finds Cameron Green. A little bit of a slow build up this from Boston, but they do get the ball back into the area initially. It's Nicholson that gets it down for Hazel, who flicks it up for himself and then fires the effort. Too many back for Woking. Chance here for Boston, still on the edge of the area. Frankie Maguire just forced back 5 or so yards, now finds Hill, who bit of a stray pass from Hill, and in the end Kelly Evans can pick it up. Chance here for Woking to sort of break forward, but Denon Lewis was screaming out for it on this near side.
Yeah, took a deflection as clearance came, so ball to Woking, throw to Woking.
A Woking throw on this near side. Halfway inside their own half. Adam Chickson's going to take it. Couple of options down the line, but many amber and black shirts around them. Maybe up to go infield here for Buteman. No, goes for Andrews. Back to Chickson once again. Takes it in nicely with his left. Now Buteman dropping deep, but pickpocketed by Maguire. Finds Jimmy Knowles out wide for Green now, who's advanced quite high up the pitch here. The Boston number 3. He's level 18-yard line. Many options in the area for the Pilgrims. Stray pass back a little bit. That's quite a bit of Hill, who looked to play the ball in first time. Buteman just first to it. Approaching the half-hour mark. Woking 1 to the good here at the Jakeman's Community Stadium by a Harry Buteman finish from a tight angle. Against the run of play at the time, really. Boston were the ones in the final third, looking the more likely to score, but took their chance when it came. And as Buteman has so often this season, puts the Cards into the lead. Still though, Boston, the tide that got their foot on the ball a little bit more in this first half. As Green looked for the ball inside the area, Nicholson nodded it on and out of play.
I think Woking fans will be hoping that today Woking, I think there have been a number of games where Woking have taken the lead and games have ended draws, and maybe we were talking about it on the way up actually, maybe just looking for that killer instinct that can get the second or even the third goal and really put a game to bed, rather than look to hang on or struggle a bit and then end up conceding for the draw.
I know it's an obvious thing to say, but getting that second goal really does ease things, doesn't it? Takes the shackles off for the players a little bit, and as you mentioned, Ian, a few times this season games have just gone to the bitter end and they've had to hold on in games that they've even played well in as well. So if they can get a second, no matter what time it comes before Boston's first, then I'm sure they'll be very welcomed by both Neil Ardley, the travelling fans, and the players out there on the pitch. As Chickson then throws the ball down the line towards Denon Lewis. It's Zach Mills that wins it, but can only nod it out the pitch. It's another throw in for Woking, about 25 yards further up than the previous one on this near side. Chickson strolls up the pitch to take it inside the Boston half. Back for Akinola. Got options to his left, but straight pass, and Jimmy Knowles races onto this for Boston, but once again great recovery from Okoli. Dangerous position there as Knowles looked to race onto it for Boston, as it's swept across by Effiong, doing well to drop deep and pick that up then. Now Woking over halfway with Dion Kelly Evans. Anderson's offering himself inside, but goes back 5 yards to Dale Gorman. Anderson, one-touch football between himself and Evans. Now Gorman back to Kelly Evans inside the centre circle. Now Woking, it's gone from right to left. Okoli's picked it up 10 yards inside their own half now, Woking, but it's a sweeping ball into the centre. Buteman's found a little bit of space in a pocket in the Boston half. Good defensive shape from Boston to combat that though, as it's level of 18-yard line now for Woking. Out on the far side, Gorman looking for the ball into the area. There's his offside position there. That was an obvious one. It's hooked into the area and takes it down on his chest, clearly offside. As
when Woking can get the ball and hold on to it, they can do some good stuff. They're just struggling to get a lot of the ball in this game. Boston certainly having the lion's share of the possession.
Give you an update on the other National League scores when we can in this one. Been quite a fast tempo game. Well, I just heard Dennis Lewis, the little shout from him there. He was just trying to put his foot through that one with his left foot, the pink boots, and just loses his foot in here to the joy of the Boston fans around us.
That's what you get with pink boots.
What a few pink boots out there today, especially on this near side in front of us as throwing comes in then, looping one from Connor Teal. In the end, cleared by Woking once again. It's Effiong, who's done very well to drop deep inside this opening 35 minutes and just using his body to get in front of himself and the Boston defence when that ball gets into midfield. Now charging back forward himself, the striker. As Gorman, 1-2 with Anderson. Back with Gorman now, and Anderson doing very well to stretch in and slide to keep possession for Woking after a bit of a loose pass. Woking just seeing a little bit more of the ball over these last couple of minutes, but just as I say that, lose possession, and Ethan Hill with a nice little jinking run inside. Jay Rowe's in plenty of space and finds him on this near side. Rowe against Lewis. Rowe beats him for pace. He's got options inside the area as well. Lewis recovers well though. Rowe is forced back, finds Teal, who sweeps the ball inside. Loose ball into the box here for Boston, and in the end Kelly Evans hooks it clear. It's now with Brad Nicholson. Now Ethan Hill, who's come onto this near side after a sweeping run across. Now with Zach Mills, the Boston captain, cross for Nicholson. Sent long, diagonal ball. Rowe takes it in, but a little bit too much on it. Tries to take it in with his shoulder, and just bobbles off and out of play. Chickson throwing just in front of us here.
Yeah, asking a lot of Rowe. That is a very long ball, and he was right on the trying to control it with his chest, but it was a fruitless task.
Yeah, asking a lot, wasn't he? As back in play then, Dale Gorman with a jumping clearance with his right foot while the ball's wobbling around in the air, but it was straight back into the feet of the Boston defence, and now Cameron Green's picked it up out wide. He's charged forward 15 or so yards, but Boston are forced back onto halfway. Nicholson goes square to Mills. Couple of Boston options on this near side, but Woking are holding a very firm shape at the moment. Despite the Boston possession, Ian, and a couple of balls into the area, Woking have looked very comfortable being out of possession.
They have. There's really, and the only real strong save was that Jaskalainen one that tipped onto the bar. They've handled it fairly comfortably.
Looping throw then, both sides just sort of reluctant to pick the ball up there, both letting it drop, and in the end it went to Woking's favour as Hazel let the ball bobble for too long and Akinola hit the ball clearance. Scores elsewhere in the National League, the poor run of form for Dagenham going on. They lost 1-0 at Barnet, Fylde drawing 0-0 with Braintree. It's 1-1 between Aldershot and Gateshead. Hartlepool are 1-up on the road at Eastleigh. Halifax 1-up against Yeovil. Sutton lead by a goal to 0 on the road at Maidenhead. Early goal for Rochdale. They lead 1-0 against Wealdstone, who are in the relegation spots. Goalless between Ebbsfleet and Solihull. Dreadful season for Ebbsfleet. It's hard to remember a National League side that have put up a points tally like this over recent years.
Yeah, it must be very dispiriting for the players, and week in, week out, they know they're down, so the club will be obviously preparing for next season.
Elsewhere, Southend lead by 1-0 against Altrincham, and Tamworth goalless with Oldham. Late kick-off, a big one at the top. York against Forest Green. We'll keep you up to date with the scores across the National League throughout the afternoon. Still Woking lead by 1-0 here though. 34 minutes on the clock. Harry Buterman's goal on 22 minutes, the difference between the sides. A nice angled finish into the bottom left-hand corner after a sustained bit of pressure by Boston, but Cameron Gregory couldn't keep it under control after an Anderson shot, and Buterman slid it home. Boston on the ball at the minute then, on halfway with Hill. Slides it inside for Rowe, but he tries to jink the ball right and sees the ball out of the pitch. Chickson then to take, as always, on this near side. Inside for Andrews, back for Chickson. Played off the outstretched leg of Hill for another throw 10 yards further back for Woking.
Boston are really marking this sort of Woking passing game at the back very tightly, which means the angles are often very tight.
It is quite a high press in the attacking third from Boston, but you can tell there's a couple of frailties at the back when they're there.
Yeah.
Effiong with his back to Connor Teal then, turns very nicely there. Effiong, he's had his number so far, and Buterman picks it up, takes it in with his left, shifts it out with his right. Kelly Evans now into the box it comes for Woking with Jermaine Anderson just looking to twist away from Nicholson. Out for Kelly Evans. Nice little move this here from Woking, sweeping it from between the midfield. Gorman then, the captain for the Cards. Inside it goes for Anderson. Neat first touch, and that's quite a lot of Andrews there. It was all neat passing from Woking and then just put way too much on it. Andrews' outstretched foot couldn't take it in, and Boston regained possession. Hazel dropping deep for Boston here to play the ball out for Rowe, who plays it off. Adam Chickson out for a throw.
Woking looking comfortable there, and then just one misplaced pass and suddenly Boston are back on the front foot.
Connor Teal then, the man with the ball in hand for Boston, probably giving himself a couple extra yards there where the throw-in came in. Dale Gorman then getting there first, back for Jaskalainen. Good defending there from McCauley just to spot that, and he ran straight in front of Hazel while Jaskalainen took his time with the goal kick. Laid out by Anderson. Ball deep inside the Woking half here. It's a bit of a loose pass from Dale Gorman, but in the end Woking win the ball straight back. Andrews, base of the centre circle here for Woking. Gorman picks it up deep once again, out wide for Kelly Evans, who's had quite a high position averagely over the course of this game. He's been sweeping up and down that right side, as he quite often does. Slender 1-goal lead then in this one. 37 minutes on the clock here. Lovely day for football. Bright blue skies, hardly a cloud in the sky here in Lincolnshire. Been a lovely week, truth be told, all around the country really. Will it be a lovely result to bring back home to Surrey for Woking? At the moment, certainly yes. Plenty of football to play though the rest of this afternoon, as Denon Lewis picks it up on this near side, and a bit of a tussle there between the two. Lewis throws his arms up in frustration, asking what that was for. He sort of just grabbed the arm of Connor Teal a little bit there. I don't think it looked all too much in it, but it was right under the referee's eye line.
So it's going to be a long free kick in. Yeah, there the weather's lovely here, and my winter coat, for now at least, has been consigned to the boot of the car.
Hopefully it stays like that. So it's going to be Cameron Green then with the ball. Left footer to swing the ball in. Plenty of bodies queuing on the edge of the 18-yard box here for Boston. It's a good ball in from Cameron Green. Had the right dip, but in the end found itself right into the hands of Jaskalainen. Everyone a bit too further back for Boston number 3's ball. Easy catch in practice in the end for Jaskalainen, who just waits for the ball to bobble into his hands. Folds it to his right hand side for a Coley. Now Kelly Evans looking to play himself out here. Woking. Jermaine Anderson, bit of a loose pass, but can't get the ball under control. Boston, it's back with Kelly Evans. Gorman looked as though he's going to smash his foot through that, but plays it on the floor to Beautyman. Andrews, the man that looks to try and get the ball in under control. Sent long then by Gregory. Rowe's the target, wins the header. Couple of Boston bodies up on this near side, looking to challenge Woking as they try and advance towards the 18-yard box. It's hooked long by Hill. Nicely controlled by Chickson though, and cleared away from danger. Nobody can really get the ball down and under control here the last couple of minutes. And in the end, a bit of a mistake from Zach Mills, who lets Effiong in behind, out on the left side of the box. Effiong, can he forge a shooting opportunity? And in the end, Boston putting them under pressure, and ball comes long for Hazel, who's in an offside position. Linesman quickly put his flag up there. Boston fans not too happy around us, but Hazel did look as though he'd averted the offside trap. Approaching half time then at the Jatemans Community Stadium. You sense there'll be a minute or two added on. 40 minutes on the clock. Boston 0, Beautyman 1. I suppose it is, but Woking 1. A result that, as things stand, would keep Woking in 16th position, but lift them 8 points clear of danger. Always been teams that have been a lot more in trouble than Woking this season, but nonetheless you always want to make that gap as big as you can as you approach the final 10 games of the season. 8 points, a very sizable gap at this stage of the season, you have to say, when some of the teams down there have only won the amount of games they have over the course of the campaign. For Boston though, they'll look at this as an opportunity to start trying to claw back some points. They themselves 9 points inside the relegation zone, so wins Starting need to be in on the board if they're to stay up this season. As Jay Rowe on this near side, then left frustrated as he can't get the ball under control. Effiong with a big old tussle between himself and Mills there. Mills, the Boston captain, throwing his arms up in the air, but the advantage played by the referee with Boston still in possession. Out on the far side to Green then. Shifts inside. Looking for options in the final third here, Boston. Played out to this near side. Pretty poor ball. We've seen that a few times from the home side today. Just trying to bring Rowe and Teal into the game and way too much on it, and it's easy possession, one back for Woking, really.
It's obviously one of the tactics is to get it out wide to Rowe, and he either hasn't been able to control it or it's been a poor ball to him, and that was a poor ball well over his head. Chickson with the throw.
Yep, Chickson with the throw. Effiong with two players for company. It's a Boston throw in then. Effiong was sort of sandwiched in between Rowe and Teal there and was nodded off him and out of play. It's Teal, the man with the ball in hand, with the turquoise boots. Plenty of Boston bodies queuing up on the edge of the 18-yard box, but despite that, it's straight into the feet of Chickson, who couldn't get it out of his feet all too quickly, but it's a nice ball to Jermaine Anderson. Made it look easy there, Chickson, despite being under pressure. And Buteman looking for the knock on towards Anderson. In the end, a little bit slow there from Woking trying to break forward, and it's back in with the feet of Cameron Gregory. Once again out to this near side then. Been a common theme really of this game. Chickson slices the ball clear, and once again it's going to be another Boston throw. Similar position to the last few throws really, with Teal with the ball in hand. Even Hill screaming for it for the Pilgrims. Teal still just delaying the restart here. In it comes then, level 18-yard. Once again Chickson throwing himself in front of it. He's always the first port of contact with these throws down this near side. As lovely shift of the feet there from Rowe to get it into Maguire as he plays the ball out towards Green. It's on the edge of the D here for Boston, trying to forge a shooting opportunity here, the Pilgrims. Laid across for Hill. Now back inside as for Richards. Now out wide to this side for Rowe. Hill's offering himself inside, but Rowe looks for the ball inside the penalty area. It's cut out by Gorman. Effiong's dropped deep once again on this near side. Zach Mills very high up out of his defensive line to try and combat it, but Effiong having the better of him and laying it out to Kelly Evans. No danger for either side. Ball halfway inside the Woking half, bit of sustained pressure for the Cards. Oh, that's a bit sloppy from Kelly Evans. Luckily he gets away with it. Sort of twisted and turned himself into a little bit of trouble. I suppose, how do you look at this first half performance here? Taking their chances, Woking. I think Boston have probably had more of the chances and more of the possession, but from a defensive point of view, Woking have stood very firm. How would you look at the first half performance?
Yeah, I think Woking have stood firm in defence. I think when they have had the ball and the opportunity to attack, they've looked dangerous. They're good. They've got players who are good on the ball. They've got obvious class there. It's just the obviously Boston having the bulk of the ball.
Yeah, Boston in possession here as down this near side. Jamie Andrews was the one that tried to stop the ball going long, and Andrews with a nice little twist and turn there, put under quick pressure from Hill though. It's a great challenge from Hill, nods it on with his head as well. Rowe goes down under the challenge, and nice little cushion ball down from Anderson, who tells Gorman to slow things down. Looking for the hook ball over the top for Effiong, who once again is against Mills. Effiong with a shooting opportunity! Oh! And a chance out of nothing really for Woking there as the ball's hooked over the top from Gorman. Effiong gets the right side of Mills, the Boston skipper, fires a powerful effort, but it's just over the top left side of the crossbar. But that would have been a very welcome strike, very welcome finish for Woking just before half time.
It would, and it fell so invitingly for Effiong, and he hit it with power but couldn't keep it down. Again, I think he'll be wishing he could have done better with that, but it was a good ball through, and he's run tirelessly this half, Effiong, and he's been involved. He's won a few headers, he's been chasing the lines and so on, but he's also had two really good chances that he hasn't been able to take.
Approaching half time here at the Jakemans Community Stadium. Just the one goal separating the two sides. There's 1 minute of additional time added on, but bit of a stoppage in play as Frankie Maguire receives treatment. You sense that most of the 1 minute has probably been played. Referee doesn't blow the whistle
another
as yet.
minute on, won't he?
Yeah,
But
I suppose there'll be an extra minute added on. A couple more goals in the National League.
Frankie Maguire looks as though his afternoon might be over. He looks very dejected as he walks towards the touchline.
I think you're right, Ian. Boston shaping up for an early change. Keaton Ward going to be the man that comes on for the Pilgrims, which confirmation of that change there for Boston. Probably be welcomed by the Cards. Frankie Maguire has got himself into some lively positions for Boston. He's been quite a big part of the attacks here on this near side, trying to get the ball into him on the edge of the 18-yard box. Looks pretty tricky with his feet.
Yeah, he buzzes around, doesn't he? He tries to make things happen. He's again quick feet and energetic, but he has been one of Boston's better players, certainly this half.
He certainly has, and over the course of the season as well. Maybe not the goal output that Maguire would have wanted when joining the club, but in terms of like prowess in that final third, offered them something. But makes way at the end of the first half for Keaton Ward. As we approach the final exchanges of this first half, then ball thrown down the line. Pretty long throw from Boston, well over halfway, about 5 or so yards inside the Woking half now as it goes long by Nicholson. Jimmy Knowles is the target, picks it up, but Okoli once again fantastic defending, just getting across to it. But Jimmy Knowles letting Okoli know he's there, shifts the ball straight back in. Did well there, the Boston attacker. Nicholson lays it back off for Green. Boston just looking to try and find something at the end of this half, but Chickson and the rest of the Woking defensive line have just had an answer to all them balls into the area in this first half, and that is the half-time whistle. Woking go into the break, 1 goal to the good. It's not been all eye-catching at all times from Woking, but the most important thing a lot of the time is to keep the ball out there at your back of your own net and take your chances when you get them. They've done exactly that. Boston with a few dangerous flurries in the final third. That centre-half partnership hasn't looked like being cracked. And then when the ball has advanced into the final third, Woking probably with 2 of the best chances of the game. One of them resulting in a goal, the second just over from Effiong at the end, 1-0 at half time.
Yeah, Boston had one great chance to hit the bar, but it's Woking have played pretty. I would say they've been pretty comfortable in this first half, albeit there's been quite a lot of possession and pressure coming at them. But you know they've faced that in quite a few games recently pretty well. So the defence has done its job. They've come out patiently from midfield, and Effiong, Buteman, when they get the chance, they try and make something happen. And I think Jermaine Anderson has also had a pretty good half, considering he's just returning from prolonged injuries. So, all to play for in the second half, but a promising half from Woking.
Most definitely. Just the 1 goal separating these two sides at half time. Woking will certainly want an insurance goal to make sure the points go back to Surrey today. But it's Harry Buteman's 8th goal of the league season that puts the Cards ahead at half time. We'll be back in 15 minutes for second half commentary of this one in the Vanarama National League.
All I can get, I'm afraid.
Well, welcome back to second half commentary in the Vanarama National League. Woking against Boston United, and at the moment Woking with their tails up. 1-0 they lead here at Boston United. Harry Buteman with his 8th goal of the season in the league, 12 in all competitions. Players are back out. Woking shooting the end just in front of us this half, as And half-time music is drawn to a close and we're back underway. Woking get us underway for the second half, hoping to see out this 45 minutes and pick up a big 3 points and make it 6 games without defeat in the National League. But as we mentioned at the start of the game, Ian, they'll want to start turning a couple of those draws into victories.
Yeah, and I think having that killer instinct in games, which you sometimes get the feeling that when they've got their nose in front, they sort of relax a bit or don't really go for the jugular, and it's like to see, yeah, as you say, another goal here.
Nicholson then for Boston United, looking to hook that hook a throw into the area. A little bit panicky from Woking in defence at the start. We were waxing lyrical at half time about the Woking defence and how firm they've stood in this game so far. As Boston have the early stages of the ball in this second half then. Remember that Boston forced into one change just before half time. Frankie Maguire off for Keaton Ward, just on the stroke of half time in additional time. Zach Mills winning the header against Effiong. Ball bobbles over halfway as the Boston fans spring into life behind the goal, shooting towards their singing section this half. Woking will also have their fans in and around them though, down that far side as they look to spur these points on in Lincolnshire. Out to the near side then for Kelly Evans, who takes it in with his chest and hooks it into midfield for Jermaine Anderson, looking to turn.
Questions are, Jermaine Anderson not had many minutes in recent weeks, whether he's got much more left, and if that's the case, who would come on? There's Frank Vincent.
Shouts for handball there from the Boston fans. It was right in the referee's eye line, and naughty from Jermaine Anderson really. Those are always going to result in yellow cards. It was just looking to slow play down a little bit there. It was a handball from Anderson and he just kicks the ball away right in front of the referee, picks up the yellow card for simulation. Boston free kicks not in a dangerous position after that. It's on this near side, about 3 yards inside their own half. Diagonal ball from Nicholson though. It's a nice ball in fairness, but nonetheless met the head of a Coley, and Boston have the chance here then, but not the greatest of balls from Jordan Richards, who's been a bit quiet in this one, I have to say, the Boston midfielder. It's more been Dylan Hill, the midfielder, that sort of got attacks going for the hosts, and put his foot through that one and out of play, so it will be a Woking goal kick. Jaskalainen just putting the ball down on the 6-yard line, right in the centre of it, laying it to the left as Chickson goes long. Oh, a bit poor from Woking there as Chickson was forced back. Boston just trying to regain a little bit of possession here. It's a bit sloppy. Both sides just harrying away for the ball. It ends up back with Nicholson though, inside his own half. He's the only Boston man in their half. Once again opting for the diagonal ball, as he has so often this game. Finds Rowe level with the 6-yard box on the far side. Chances for Boston to get the ball into the air. It's swung in by Teal and nodded away from danger once again by a Coley. Boston are in the ascendancy at the moment. They've come out stronger in the second half, but Woking have shown in this game it doesn't take them much to get themselves on the score sheet, and could that be a second example of that now? No, it can't, as Effiong looks to take the ball in with his left, play it out to Denon Lewis, and out of play it goes just in front of the travelling Woking supporters. Gregory then to this near side for Nicholson, who looks quite quick with the ball at his feet. J Rowe takes it in nicely with his left foot. Both sides just struggling to really get some strong tempo in this second half. As Anderson picks it up. Touch lets him down a little bit there, and it's out for a Boston throw-in though, 3 yards inside, and Jimmy Knowles is the target of a long ball here for Boston, but once again a Coley across to it. Knowles trying to shift inside and pickpocket the defender. Poor that from Woking though, as Boston pick it up on the edge of the area, loads of space to shoot, but it opts to sort of drag the ball back instead. But it's a brilliant ball for Boston. Swinging ball in from Cameron Green. It was nodded on by Jay Rowe. Diving header on the 6-yard line. Nods it into the floor, trying to hit it into the keeper's top right. Well, the keeper's top left, our top right.
Yeah, been a bit sloppy from Woking so far this half. You've had possession but giving it away, and that was giving it away, and that was a dangerous ball in. It could easily have been the equalising goal for Boston.
Ball sent long by Gregory then. Both heads going up, and it's once again Boston that come out with the ball. Jay Rowe once again in an attacking position, dragged across goal, and once again another wake-up call for Woking. Once again it's that man Jay Rowe on the far side that's causing the problems. He flashes an effort across goal. Hazel and Knowles both went for it, couldn't get it foot on it. It took a nick off a Woking man and out for a corner on this near side. Chance here for Boston then. They've definitely been the better side in this opening 5-10 minutes of the second half, and here comes Keaton Ward then, the first half substitute. Now Knowles, he's got Hill and Ward for support, but dragged onto the edge of the box. Nicholson fires the effort, cleared away by Woking. Makinola gets his body in the way of it, and in the end it was a bit of a 50-50 challenge. Woking man went down, and it is a free kick in the D.
Trying to see who that is that's gone down. I think it's possibly Jamie Andrews.
Thank you all for your support this afternoon. Today's attendance including 107 visitors.
Oh, Dylan Lewis.
1,787. 1787.
107 travelling Woking fans here at the Jakeman's Community Stadium this afternoon. We'll all be hoping to go home with 3 points. As things stand, that 23rd minute goal from Harry Buterman is the difference. As Woking had very little so far in this second half though. As Boston do nicely to get the ball clear of danger there. It was Mills that flicked the ball over his head and out wide for Green. Sells Hill a little bit short inside though. Nicholson forced back to the goalkeeper. 52 minutes on the clock. Woking lead by a goal to nil here against Boston United. Keaton Ward then, out for Rowe, once again in quite a high position is Rowe. Inside it goes for Richards, now Nicholson. Everyone inside the Woking half at the moment for both sides. Here's Green, level with the 18-yard box, far side, looking for a chance to swing the ball into the area. Green hangs the ball up, Rowe goes up, bit too much on it, Rowe went up for it, missed it. Ball still in play for Boston, opposite side now, level with the 18-yard line. Boston continue their pressure at the start of this second half. Woking standing firm as things stand. Nice little ball inside from Hill, but it's dealt with by Woking. Andrews cuts it out. Sloppy play, and Hazel now picks it up for Boston, looking to advance towards the 18-yard line. It's a ball now out for Green once again, who's going to look to probably try and get to the bar line and swing it in. No, opts to go back for Nicholson, who swings the ball in towards the back post and nodded away by Woking. Shouts of frustration from the Boston fans as Woking come out of that one with winning the 50-50 and the free kick.
Again, very sloppy there from Woking, and we were just talking about that, and giving the ball away needlessly, and suddenly, you're going to be put under pressure in these games, but sometimes it's the Woking are putting themselves under pressure just with these little mistakes, and but very few options on the bench really for Neil Ardley, players who really haven't had 90 minutes.
Yeah, just to confirm those substitutions, talking about Dan Moss on the bench, Jacob Jones, Rohan Ince, Ollie Webber, of course, the goalkeeper, and Frank Vincent, the loanee. So only 5, one of them being a goalkeeper. And as you mentioned, players like Rohan Ince playing very few minutes as Boston look to race forward here. It's Jimmy Knowles looking to forge a shooting opportunity. Good defending from Macaulay to get his body and his foot in the way.
And how often have we, as a Coley's sake, Woking stays, been immense at the back, and read the runs and covered the men and been very strong when he's needed to be. And here's another long throw from Nicholson to come in by the looks of it. Yeah, it's certainly a danger, a long dipping throw. We've seen it a couple of times today as Nicholson launches the ball in then towards the back post in the end,
Nodded away by Akoli. Ball still bobbling around in the area, not clear of danger. It's Ethan Hill that picks up the ball. Nice first touch. Ball gets away from him a little bit, but slides in to keep it. Boston just... Ball stuck to their feet at the minute. Woking just can't get a hold of it. Nicholson overlapping from behind him, but he fires the shot. Woking clear, but once again straight back into Boston's hands. A lion's share of possession in this second half. It's Rowe that looks to try and clear it in this time. Just need to try and curb a little bit of this and switch the dynamic of the game, because every time that Boston put them under pressure, the defensive balls are just going straight back into their hands. They're not even clearing it over halfway. And once again, lots of bodies in the box for Boston. Comes in, can't beat the first man. Nonetheless, out for a corner, far side.
Well, this first half has been like the Alamo. It's been an onslaught from Boston, and Woking really feel as though it looked like they're really on the edge here defending.
Yeah, how long can Woking keep up with their backs against the wall like this? There's a lot of bodies crowding forward for Boston, but yet to find the clinical touch in the final third, the hosts. And been the story of the second half a couple of times really. Boston get the ball into a good position, bit of argy-bargy and tussling in the box. Referee gives the free kick Woking's way.
Yeah, and he's much closer to the action, picks up these little niggles and these little fouls. There are going to be some very tired players out there for Woking. It was a draining game on Tuesday against Southend. Before that, Oxford City, and they look a bit sluggish at the moment. Looks like there are some tired legs out there. But of course, a bit of possession, another goal, and suddenly the spring comes back into your legs.
Most certainly. Not seen hardly any of the ball in the second half, Woking. As they do have the ball, one of the furthest forward they had it in the second half at the moment though. Jamie Andrews will take the throw in on this near side. A lot of options inside the area, queuing up on the edge of the D here for Woking. Anderson one of them, Lewis one of them, Gorman as well. Both centre halves have come forward as well. Chickson the only man back for Woking at the moment, over halfway. Andrews then looping throw of their own. Ball comes onto the edge of the box. Gorman goes up for it, sweeping, and now this could be a bit of a dangerous position for Woking as Boston look to counter through Keaton Ward. Got Green on the overlap but goes alone here, Ward. Hazel's moving through the middle. Goes for Green, a sloppy pass from Ward. In the end, he had options to his left, to his right, and plays a bit of a bobbly pass that's cut out by Woking.
Yeah, that was a let off for Woking. Breakaway, but as you say, Boston pass was very sloppy, and Chickson, I think, was able to clear it.
He's been strong down that left side today, as Chickson been quite open to a lot of the plays gone down that far side through Rowe, hasn't it?
Yeah, and he's handled it well. He's good on the ball. There's been a lot of high balls which he's trapped well, controlled well.
It's a lovely ball over the top. Will Jaskalainen comes out with a diving header. Andrews with a bit of a bobbled header, really, just sort of hooked it up. Neither here nor there header really for Andrews, and in the end Boston regain possession. It's Green running to the byline, swings it in, bobbles off a Woking man, and out for another Pilgrim's corner. The second half onslaught continues in terms of intensity.
Woking have defended very well, but the chances of them defending the whole half, if this continues, I would say are pretty slim.
Yeah, just about 15 minutes into this second half, and Woking have seen very little of the ball. It's all been spent in the final third for Boston. But as Ian quite rightly mentions, it's been strong defensive display from Woking, putting their head where it hurts and throwing themselves at every ball that comes in. A few nice challenges in there, last gasp from Akinola and Akoli. Hill then on halfway goes back for Green. Out to this near side for Nicholson. Once again Boston in possession. Ball goes long. Disappointing ball really from Nicholson, and Kelly Evans will just shepherd this ball out of play.
You'd think Woking really need to draw the sting from this this Boston pressure, and then begin to try and really work their way back into even Stevens in this half.
1-0 still the score. Approaching the hour mark here at the Jakeman's Community Stadium. Buteman goes down in a heap in the centre circle. Referee says no. Cameron Green now level halfway. Boston have advanced pretty far up the pitch very quickly here. Chance for Keaton Ward to try and fire an effort. He's in towards the back post and Boston get a free header. Once again it's J Rowe with the header inside the area. Expert defending from Woking though to get in between him. J Rowe looked as though he was going to have the free header, but put quickly under pressure by the defenders and didn't have as much time as he first thought there.
That man chicks it again, really got his head in there, and Boston fans feeling it was a corner, but the referee giving a goal kick, and
just a bit of a break in play here.
Waiting for a football. No one time wasting. It's just waiting for a football.
Well, the original ball is back on the pitch. It was just bobbling around in the stand behind the goal for Boston, which certainly where the majority of their fans are huddled right behind the black and amber nets. Very close to the pitch, this stadium as well. You know, you sense some grounds are always a little bit far away from the action, but this one right in amongst it on all four corners of the ground. Jamie Andrews then. Can Woking just try to slow things down a little bit? Boston have been very intense in this second half. They've broke out the blocks very quickly, and Woking have had the answers defensively, but in terms of regaining possession and giving the ball straight back into Boston's hands, it's been a little bit sloppy since the interval.
Yeah, it's just looking at Neil Ardley and Simon Bassey in conversation there with sheets of paper out, maybe data, maybe options, but it's
Louis Askelainen just taking his time with this one a little bit.
It's not the first yellow card Willie Askelainen's had this season in similar situations, just taking his time a bit.
Dale Gorman, I believe, has just gone in the book there. Second yellow card for Woking today for pretty much the similar thing. Dale Gorman and Anderson both simulation yellow cards. Bit of a loose ball then, it was a 50-50 that ended up finding its way out to this near side, and Boston once again charging forward. Green has been very high up the pitch in this second half in his pink boots, lays it back for Ethan Hill. Dink ball towards the back post, heads go up, nodded on by Rowe once again, but he can't find a flush connection in between the two defenders and nods it down into the floor wide of the post. Woking, despite being under big pressure, still lead by a goal to nil.
And two substitutions coming for Boston, including Adam Marriott. Hasn't scored that many goals this season, but over the years he's been a top striker at this level. Small, bit of a fox in the box type player, and excellent pedigree, and also Gale.
James Gale also finds his way into the pitch. Boston's top scorer Jacob Hazel makes his way off, who's been nullified this afternoon. You have to say the two defenders have done a good job. He's tried to get his back to the defenders and cause problems, but has been neck with scraps really, Hazel.
Yeah, I think Okoli and Akinola have handled that sort of, you know, the big striker that Hazel is, that sort of player quite well. Whether players, we've now got James Gale, who's another big striker, and Marriott, who's the small man, and whether they can handle this sort of Quicksilver small man the same as they've been handling the big man, we'll have to see.
Yeah, so it's Jimmy Knowles and Jacob Hazel off for James Gale and Adam Marriott.
And Dan Moss coming on in a moment for Woking.
Yep. First change of the afternoon for Woking. Look to maybe shore things up a little bit more in the back. That's poor ball from Woking there. Not loads of pressure, just a bit of a sloppy pass from close range. James Gale then, his first flurry into play. Tries to take it in. It's a neat little flick on. Gale takes it in first time with his left. Just sort of short of options though, Gale. And he runs himself into trouble. Good defending there by Boston though to win the ball back. Here's Richards. Gets the ball down the line for Green. Gale's making the run off of Green once again. Looking to shift it infield. Everybody back for Woking other than Effiong, who's on the centre circle. Ball finds its way out to Rowe now then. Shifted infield now. Keaton Ward looks to drill it across, and Akinola in the end gets his foot to it. How long, Ian, can this continue? The games sometimes come in flurries of stuff, but Boston have just gone through the gears in this second half.
They have, and Woking, a mixture of tired players and also players coming back from injury, have struggled to keep the intensity going, and they've really been on the back foot. Looks like Jermaine Anderson, who, as we thought, probably wouldn't see through the whole game, is coming off, and Dan Moss, who again hasn't had a full game for probably many months, coming on.
Yeah, return to action for Dan Moss. Interesting to see what he can do. He'll be happy to get himself back out there on the grass as Jermaine Anderson then comes off. Did look a little bit tired in that second half, didn't he?
He did. He's
Won himself though in the first half. As Boston have the corner then, swung in a succession of corners in this second half. Floats all the way over the length of the 6-yard box though, and out for a throw in on the opposite side. Ethan Hill bowls the ball into Nicholson, who once again will use the width of the side of the pitch to arrow a long throw in. In it comes from Nicholson. Big throw towards the back post. Heads go up. Chance for Boston and in! And after so many occasions of putting that ball into the area, J. Rowe eventually heads home. It's been a danger throughout the course of this game. Brad Nicholson's long throws into the box, dealt with so often by the Woking centre half pairing, but J. Rowe has so often ghosted into them positions. This time he's rewarded. Heads home comfortably into the centre of the left side, and you have to say, on the balance of play in the second half, it's been coming. Boston have been pretty relentless out of the block since the interval. Woking need to go through the gears a little bit. Boston are level here in Lincolnshire, and Woking will have to resort to the original script now. 1-1, Ian.
Yeah, you have to say that goal was coming, and Rose sawed at the back post, was unmarked. Generally, Woking have done quite well against the long throw, but that one was that time it didn't work. And Rowe, whether it was just having a new man on the pitch or the changes that Woking have done.
Woking looking to initially try and break a counter, but Boston can break away again here with a substitute, James Gale. He's forged himself into plenty of space on this near side. Gale looking to shift it onto his right, could fire an effort. Good block by Okoli, putting his body on the way, but the home fans really getting behind the Pilgrims now. Nicholson then not in the throwing the ball down the line. It's hooked on inside. Chance for Green to try and strike here for Boston. Green shifts onto his left, not clear of danger, and in the end, it's a bit of a sweaty period this for Woking.
Yeah, the stadium has come alive now because Boston are definitely in the ascendancy. You're waiting for Green to pull the trigger there, but he tries to dribble it in, and Woking recovered well, but it's quite desperate defence at times.
Yeah, it does definitely look a little bit more desperate defending this half than, of course, in the first. It looked a bit more controlled, but of course that comes when there's so many waves of pressure as Boston have had in this second half. And as you say, Green there, you just sensed he was going to pull the trigger with his right, then pull it with his left, and tried to dribble it all the way through, and Jaskalainen ended up pouncing on the ball, claiming it. Bit of a stoppage in play here as Richards just feeling a bit of a knock to his head. Always, of course, got to stop with any head injuries. Referee just checking him over. 3 Boston players around the ball. I think it's going to be Nicholson.
You know, it's Dan Moss. I think Dan Moss was booked there. I think only been on the pitch 5 minutes.
Third yellow card of proceedings for Woking. Gorman, Anderson, who's of course now off the pitch, and Dan Moss. Very quick yellow card for the returning Dan Moss. Well, we've got an interesting end to this one because Woking fired themselves in front, but Boston United have really come alive since the interval and have scored the second goal of this one. You'll say they'll have their tails up. Jaskalainen now down. Didn't quite see what happened there, Ian. It looked as though to sort of claim it. I don't know if he pulled something when dragging that.
He caught it and then immediately went down. Players all coming over. Don't want to cast aspersions on why Will Jaskalainen went down there, but all the Boston players coming over, all the Woking players coming over, and it's almost like a timeout really for both teams, and both managers, Neil Ardley very animated in talking to his team, giving them instructions.
She's still got half the game to play.
Scores elsewhere then in the National League. Barnet with a 1-0 win over Dagenham in the early kick-off there. Poor run of form continues. Dagenham and Redbridge. Brain 3, 2-0 to the good against Fylde, who of course having their own struggles down at the bottom at the moment. Gateshead 1-1 with Aldershot, of course 1-1 here at the Gentlemen's Community Stadium. Eastleigh also level 1-1 with Hartlepool. Halifax have a 1-0 lead over Yeovil. Sutton 1-0 to the good against Maidenhead. Rochdale going to town on Wealdstone, they lead by 3-0. Ebbsfleet on for a point and down to 10 men, currently 1-1 with Solihull. Southend have a 2-1 lead over Altrincham in the battle for the playoffs, and Tamworth currently drawing 1-1 with Oldham. Late kick-off at 5:30 between York and Forest Green. Bit of a lengthy stoppage here as Jaskalainen received a bit of treatment. Good to see, glad to see that he's back to his feet. Never nice to see the goalkeeper go down in a bit of a heap, and especially someone like Jaskalainen who's been such a big figure in that between the sticks for Woking. Sent then long by Jaskalainen, but once again Boston just winning those balls. Woking really struggling to get the ball up the pitch without losing possession at the moment. I think that's been the story of this second half, and probably the biggest concern for Ardley when watching on from the sidelines at the moment. Just can't really string enough passes together to get the ball forward. Sent long then towards Lewis this time, won by Mills, nodded on by Richards. Boston trying to hook the ball long, won by Coley though. Ball's bobbling around for both sides. In the end it's brought down by Boston. Rowe sprays the ball across, not quite taken in comfortably by Hill, and Denon Lewis picks the pocket of Hill, sends it long. Effiong's going to be the target, chasing down Mills. Nicholson back to Mills, who puts his foot through it outside of the boot. Nodded on by Gorman, now cleared by Richards. Played over the top for Marriott, and he can't get it under control. Looked a little bit disorientated there. Marriott just couldn't find where the ball was when it came over the top. Andrews then striding over halfway for Woking. What can the Cards provide as we approach these final 20 minutes? Chickson just put under pressure by Rose. Had a good game on that far side, you have to say, doesn't he? He has lively. Boston looking to charge down. Akinola.
He's not the youngest, but he is one of the fittest, and I know his attitude. You hear from the team, he's the first in, doing all his warm-ups and everything for training. And Woking will be feeling, if they can get away from this game of the draw, they'll have done well at the moment, because they really do look like they're really struggling out there and on a number of fronts. Really unable to sort of get quality ball.
Well, Jaskalainen just ushering his side further forward. Boston fans not happy with the time this is taking. Sent diagonally by Jaskalainen then to this near side. Once again Boston win the header. Can Woking try and get the ball down? Lewis can't, and it's hooked forward. Now won by Ward. It's scooped away by Coley. Halfway inside the Woking half, then thrown for Boston. Thrown in by Green. Hill comes short. Couple of shouts for a free kick from Boston, waved away by the referee. And one's given the other way. Complaints from the Boston fans once again, but it was Hill all over sort of the back of Gorman there.
Yeah. Referee it's dramatic from Gorman, but referee was right on top there, and
referee
gave the yellow
card as well.
Yeah. And if Woking fail to, get anything better than this, they'll rue those missed chances in the first half. The shot and the header from Ini Effiong.
Yeah, had a couple of chances there, didn't he? Especially that one at the end of the half, which goes in, changes the game completely. A second before half time. Well, as you say a moment ago, on the balance of play and the pressure that Boston have put Woking under, point wouldn't be an all too bad result. The way things have played out, but can Woking just switch things up a little bit, put the pressure on Boston, who have conceded a lot of late goals this season. Into the 74th minute here at the Gentlemen's Community Stadium. Jay Rowe heading Boston on level terms against Woking after a early 23rd minute strike from Harry Buteman. into the bottom left-hand corner. Ball sent long by Cameron Gregory. Bit of a hapless ball, really. Straight out.
Boston United would like to remind all supporters, homophobia, and all other forms of discrimination will not be tolerated.
Goalkeeper, Cameron Gregory getting a mouthful on his own bench there. That was an awful goal kick, and not straight, and went straight over onto the out for a throw-in.
Well, Jaskalainen just starting to get under the skin of the Boston supporters a little bit here as he.
And he's on a yellow card. I've never seen a goalkeeper sent off in this situation, but he is on a yellow card.
As Jaskalainen sends it long then. Mills and Effiong just sort of having a little hug there. As Lewis looks to strike it in for Effiong. This will be a chance out and nothing for Woking. Effiong strikes and it's in! The first shot at goal in the second half from the Cards results in a 2-1 lead. A beautiful ball played in towards the penalty spot. Effiong races onto it. It's a cool, calm and composed finish.
Very good finish from Effiong. Denon Lewis picked up the loose ball, played it in, and it came to Effiong, who was through on goal and sort of able to put it home. But you have to say this was against the run of play would be the exaggeration of the century. I think it's been non-stop Boston all half. I think that's really Woking's real first attack this half, and but they found themselves 2-1 up, and I don't quite know what to say, but it's what I will say is very well taken. We were just talking about Ini Effiong's missed chances in the first half. That was very, very well taken by Ini Effiong.
Yeah, lovely to race onto it, and a beautiful ball through as well. Just got peeled in behind the defence, didn't he, and powered it home from a tight angle as well, in on the near side, beating the goalkeeper at his near post. And as we said, Ian, it's really was an onslaught from Boston since the start of the second half. They got their goal, and you sense there was really no balance of play. Only going to be one team that got the second goal, but Woking have taken their chance in the first half, taken a chance in the second, and find themselves 2-1 to the good. Yeah,
definitely. And I think what we have seen of this team over the last few weeks is a lot of guts and spirit, even when there's been injuries and thin on the ground as at the moment, and players tired. But here's Lewis now on the ball.
Here as Denon Lewis looks to advance towards the 18-yard box. There's options at the back post. Denon Lewis going by himself though. Beautyman's on the edge of the area, plays it off for Effiong. Effiong just let the ball trickle a little bit too long there, but now Woking just trying to get the ball in the final third a little bit more and step up the pitch.
Yeah.
Boston in a massive hurry to get the ball back underway though. Nicholson with that long throw down the line, but way too much on it and out for another throw.
Yeah, a bit panicky there from Nicholson. Right idea, the long throw, but he didn't really set himself, and the throw went on and then came off again. Neil Ardley now clapping, geeing up his team, giving more instructions, getting them to go, dig deep.
Certainly, 78 minutes on the clock. Woking lead by 2-1 in what's been a pretty shy attacking performance, really, but a strong defensive one at that. The referee, amidst sarcastic cheers, gives a free kick Boston's way.
Looks a little bit soft, that one, but then there have been others that probably have been missed, so Woking needs to defend again now.
Keaton Ward then stands over the free kick for Boston. Not all too much of a dangerous area, but a chance to swing the ball in nonetheless. Keaton Ward towards the back post. It is a good delivery. Boston won the header. Might have took a nick off a Woking man though, and has.
So more defending now to do from Woking. They've done a lot of defending this half, as Boston have come in waves, and now seems to have been a bit of a script for this half, a repetitive script.
Yeah, lost count of the amount of corners Boston have had in this second half. There's been many, especially on this near side. Bit of a wasted one there though for Boston. However, they are still in the attacking third. Level the 18-yard box. It is played backwards though by about 15 or so yards to Green. Now finds Ward in the wide position on this near side. 10 yards short of the 18-yard box. Now Green, fizzing ball across. Nodded away from danger by Woking, but straight back into Boston once again. Every man camped inside the Woking half. Not a defender back for Boston. Not anyone forward for Woking. Balance of play. Just tilting back to Boston once again as they look to shift inside here. Woking though, bit of a desperate clearance from Dion Kelly-Evans, but it works.
Good work by Kelly-Evans, really stuck to his task, kept the ball in, and then when he rebounded was able to kick it clear off a Boston player.
So it is a throw-in on the near side, deep into the Woking half. Neil Ardley just offering instructions, barking them out to his Woking side here as we approach the final 10 minutes. Goes down the line. Effiong was the target. Andrews wins the header, hooked along by Buteman as Denon Lewis sturged on, making the run. Gorman, the long ball forward. Not all too much thought behind it though from the Woking captain, and loses possession. Once again though, a sign of Cameron Gregory, more so in the second half. Just a couple of loose balls, poor balls. No pressure there from the Boston keeper, and he's just sliced out and given Woking possession straight back.
This time no response from the bench, but they just hands on hips, look disheartened at that, because that really does give the momentum back to Woking when it could have been an attacking moment for Boston with a misplaced goal kick. But how often have fans seen their keepers either shank the ball out and so on? It's very frustrating.
Down the line it goes from Moss, won by Effiong, heads it infield towards Andrews, bobbling around for both sides. Boston are the side that get it under the control, but bit of a loose ball forward, and Chickson looking for the loop over the head of Rowe. Both players just flying in for the challenge. Chickson gets the better of Rowe and plays it off the Boston defender and out for a throw-in on the far side, just in front of the split between the Woking and the Boston fans.
Chickson did very, very well there. You have to say the Woking back four, which is now Dan Moss, but was Dion Kelly-Evans, have done very well in this game.
Thrown in then, Effiong was the target, he nodded it on, but there's plenty back for Boston to clear from danger. And 50-50, both heads go up. A little bit of a shove in the approach to it, so free kick goes Boston's way. It's in the right channel, about halfway inside the Boston half, so not a dangerous position for the free kick for Woking, but let's see what Cameron Gregory can do with the kick this time as he looks to launch a Boston attack. He goes straight through the middle, found its way out to this far side in the end though. Nicholson trying to get his head on it, and just scurries off it and out for a throw-in. Level with the 18-yard line. Moss will take once again for Woking.
Yeah, Dan Moss brings a real... I mean, Dion Kelly-Evans has done well at right back and he's moved further forward now, but Dan Moss does bring that height and strength at right back, and he can always be a central defender. He's really good with his head.
Bit of a push in the back there from Nicholson to Effiong. Claims from Effiong, referee says no. Nicholson then with the long throw right towards the edge of the 18-yard box. Fans think that was a free kick, and maybe the crowd influencing that decision a little bit there, because the referee did pause for a second.
Yeah.
Fans shouted for it, referee gave it.
Okoli it was going up, and the referee judged that he clambered over the Boston player. So I don't think this is a shooting opportunity, but I've been wrong in these situations before. It's a bit too far out for that, but it's certainly a free kick in a dangerous place.
It is good chance here for Boston to put a dangerous ball into the area. Everyone queuing up towards that back post, the area that Jay Rose sort of exploited across the course of this game. It's going to be Green and Ward that stand over it. Is it going to be swung in with the left? No, it's going to be swung in with the right of Keaton Ward. He plays it short, and that is a poor. It's a training ground move, but that is such a wasted opportunity for Boston to get the ball into the area there. Green sort of dummies the ball, lets Ward take it, carries on his run.
Yeah.
Ward puts way too much on it.
That really angered the fans, because it was a great opportunity.
And finally then Will Jaskalainen goes into the book. He has pushed his luck a little bit with the time wasting in this half. That's the third yellow card Woking have now received for simulation.
Oh, I thought he'd already got a yellow earlier on, but maybe not.
No, Dale Gorman. So Anderson first, Dale Gorman second of all, and now Will Jaskalainen all booked for simulation. And still continues to take his time a little bit after the yellow card here, Jaskalainen. Just has to be careful.
He's finished. They're very, very laid back and do their own thing, the Finns. So he's
ball trying to bobble off the head of Denon Lewis. Didn't quite know where the ball was though, as he just threw his head up at it.
Good work by Andrews. Has got a great engine. He you know, a lot of the players look tired, a bit sluggish, but he just keeps going.
Yeah, did well to get his body in front of the ball there, didn't he? Boston man was trying to curve the run behind and start a counter attack, but Andrews just puts his body in the way and lets the ball go out for a Woking throw in. Effiong once again the target, as he has been for most of the throws and set pieces so far today, the big man in the middle. Effiong at the moment's goal is the difference between the two sides. 2-1 the score as we approach the final knock-ins of this one. That's his 7th goal since joining from Braintree. It's been we mentioned it earlier, and it's been an astute piece of business. His experience, he offers something different. He's a handful for defenders, and he finds the net as well. Yeah, he always gets around 15 goals a season on an average season, whoever he's playing for. 86 minutes on the clock. Boston United 1, Woking 2. Boston have had the lion's share of the ball for the most of this second half, but Woking clinical, taking their chances. 2 shots on target, 2 goals. 1 before the break, 1 after. Clinical is the word, because Woking really haven't had much in the way of attacking threat, particularly in the second half. Chance here for Woking on the edge of the box though with Effiong. He's got support with him, just doing that hold up work. Still got it here, caged around with about 4 amber and black shirts as it's played down the line then for Kelly Evans, who's advanced very far forward. A strong challenge there from Nicholson, left a little bit on Kelly Evans. Yeah, no free kick given. I think it was maybe caught his ankle a little bit. Kelly Evans doesn't tend to play act, but he gives as good as he gets, but he was, I think, just caught slightly, but Nicholson mainly caught the ball, so no free kick given. We know the word in football, the dark arts. Sometimes that needs to happen in the football. It's what Woking have done over the last 20 or so minutes. When you lead a game and you're a little bit under pressure, how can you slow the game down a little bit? And that's what they've done. They've frustrated the crowd, they've frustrated some of those Boston players out there, and some people might not like it, but it is efficient at times. And at the moment, Woking just trying to keep that ball again in the corner and just wear the clock down, take their time with their attacks and keep the ball as high up at the pitch as they can. Yeah, free kick didn't work there, and again it points to some tired bodies out there that they're resorting to this already. As the ball goes long then, Jaskalainen goes up, shouts for a penalty from the Boston fans. It was a 50-50 between Jaskalainen and Jay Rowe, the goal scorer for Boston. Yeah, it did look as though Jaskalainen claimed the ball first. Well, he caught it, didn't he? Jumped up and caught it, and is it Rowe? You said he came in following and went down, but he's up and he's about, so no problems there. Certainly wasn't a foul. You can't really give a foul when you jump up to catch the ball. Gets to that stage of the game, doesn't it, when the side's trailing, everyone wants to get on the fans. The referee's and Boston will be kicking themselves that they're not level in this game, because really they've done so much in this second half. They've very much done all the right things, but put the ball in the back of the net, and when you're down there, scrapping for your life, that is ultimately what needs to be done. And for quite a lot of the game, been perhaps better than Woking, created more chances, but it's all about putting the ball in the back of the net. And as I said a moment ago, 2 shots on target, 2 goals for Woking, so efficient, clinical. As Boston then have a free kick, bit of a tussle on the edge of the 18-yard box to the right of the D, sent long by Gregory then, right through the centre towards Gale, nodded on. Rowe is high up the pitch and takes it in with his right foot, shifts it around as well. That's good work from the Boston number 12, can put the ball into the area, in it comes. It's a last ditch clearance by Gorman, still a chance on the edge of the area to try and find the effort for Boston. Green, Boston just need to pull the trigger, your sense here, and it's fire towards goal. Peter Moore with the strike, pushed over by Jaskalainen. Yeah, hit well, but it was at Jaskalainen. He was able to hit with power, but he was able to parry it over. Another Pilgrims corner on this near side to swing in. A lot of Boston bodies in the box as well. 8 of them to be exact. 4 minutes added on at the end of the second half. 4 more minutes to hold on for Woking. Ball's a scramble inside the area. Can't quite tell where the ball is. It falls for Rowe eventually, and what a save by Will Jaskalainen, getting down low. He was alert with his feet.
4 minutes added time.
A fantastic low-driven shot from Rowe. That's always a tough one for the goalkeeper with a crowd of bodies in front, but he gets down and he gets the ball, more importantly, over the top of the crossbar.
Yeah, that went through a crowd of bodies, and Will Jaskalainen's got his foot to it. It could then have gone anywhere, but bounced off the bar and out.
Still not clear of danger though. Boston swinging yet another corner from the opposite side this time. Nodded to the back post by Nicholson. And Jaskalainen will let that one trickle out of play, and you sense he'll take his time with recovering the ball back to the 6-yard spot as well. Woking, man goes down inside the 6-yard box as well. Is that the final big chance of the game for Boston United? They've had a couple of big attacks, but haven't been able to take in them.
I couldn't possibly comment either. Woking have actually defended very well, considering the amount of pressure and possession Boston have had in this second half.
Jaskalainen then to send the ball long. Everyone back to their feet. It's on the left side of his penalty area, sends it long towards Effiong. Nicholson's the man that wins it. Woking just trying to gain possession. Buchanan goes down on this near side. Nicholson then has the ball in hand. Buchanan just trying to slow things down a little bit there, but Nicholson probably giving himself a bit too many yards in the process.
Okoli again. Long throw that Okoli met.
Seems like the right time of the game. With just 2 or so minutes to go, and as we just wait for this, it's big chance for Boston at the last minute. J. Rowe's still there. Boston could knock it over. They do. Heartbreak for Woking right at the end. You have to say that Boston, in many stages, have deserved that equalising goal. But for it to come just a minute from time on the road, it won't feel any better for Woking. But how big a goal could that be for Boston in their relegation plight?
90 seconds.
The ball was just bobbling around free. Rowe didn't give up. It came across the area, tapped home from close range. And with just a minute to play of the stoppage time, it's Boston 2, Woking 2.
Having said how much Woking had had to defend, and they'd done pretty well, and just as they looked as though they got the 3 points they so desperately needed, that happened, and we're now drawn level, and probably just 2 minutes to survive now.
And just when you sense that maybe Woking could try and get the foot on the ball and break the ball forward, Dale Gorman slices it out, and now Boston will have the bit between their teeth. Down the line it goes from Nicholson, heading on halfway. Big tussle between Buteman and Gale. Now biting finish between the two sides here. Oh, and a bit of tussle off the ball between Gorman and Gale there. Gale was getting himself right in amongst it with a few players, wasn't he?
And a free kick, and this is going to be they call it a Hail Mary. It's going to be a long one. All the Boston players going forward,
and this
all the Woking players coming back.
Really is nervy times, isn't it? As you rightly mentioned it, everybody on the edge of that 18-yard box. It's sort of like a Boston player, Woking player, Boston player, Woking player, all marking up. Sent towards J. Rowe then, as it has been so often today. Won a number of headers and scored both of Boston's goals. Boston, the side that are pushing for the third though. What a dramatic end it'd be if anyone could get the winner. It's Keaton Ward on the edge of the box here for the Pilgrims. Fires an effort, across goal it goes! Hearts in mouth for Woking there as Keaton Ward drags it across the box.
And Okoli again was the man who got the foot in.
Massive foot in as well. It's the right height, the right speed. It's a brilliant ball across the box.
What an ending to this game, and
still not out of the woods yet, Woking, as Boston put in what has to be about their 15th corner in this game. Feels like so many. Jaskalainen punches out for Green. Shouts for handball. Referee says no. Sorry. Green in for Hill. Bobbles off the face of Effiong. He felt that one. And there is the full-time whistle. Both players go down in a heap at the end. It was a fast tempo game. Everyone put their all into it. And in the end, it's bittersweet for Woking. You have to say that Boston deserved at least a point over the balance of play, but for it to come with just 2 minutes of play left after holding on, it does feel cruel, no matter how much pressure was put on. It was Jay Rowe, the man that was lively on the far side, that scored not one but 2 goals for the hosts. Woking thought they'd done enough through Effiong with a clinical finish to put them 2-1 up with about 15 minutes to play, but in the end, Woking draw their fourth game in their past 6. They remain 6 unbeaten in the National League, and really they'll turn their attention to the weekend now. But Ian, your reflection on that, because they were clinical, they defended very well at stages, but I guess the balance of play was maybe sometimes a little bit of a concern.
Yeah, I think considering the onslaught Woking had to be under for that, particularly that second half, I think to come away with a point is it's a fair result, certainly, and probably some Boston fans will be wishing they could have had more. But you have to say again, Woking's spirit, they dug deep. Eddie Effiong's goal seemed to have nudged them home, and I suppose despite the pressure Woking were under, when you get that close near the end, you're desperately disappointed not to have held on, and so that'll be the mixture. It'll maybe feel like a defeat, but on the other hand, maybe Woking players will be realistic and say, you know, that with that game, we did well to come away with a point. So Woking unbeaten still, and onward they go. Another point towards the 50, and there'll be some very tired legs out there now. So,
and for the third game running in both the Cup and League, it's a 4-goal game, split 2-2. Of course, on the road at Oxford, on the road at Southend, and now on the road at Boston. 3 away games, all ending 2-2. The result itself does mean that Woking drop a position in the National League table. Braintree leapfrog them into 16th. Woking now 17th, 6 points above the relegation zone. Boston United, they did rescue that late point, but do still find themselves in a pretty precarious position. They're 8 points from safety with 13 games to go, but do have a couple of games in hand on the teams around then. So 2-2 it's finished here in Lincolnshire under blue skies. A great finish to kick things off from Harry Buterman, his 8th goal of the season, then cut out by a Jay Rowe goal in the second half. Effiong maybe thought he'd won it for Woking, but a last gasp goal from Jay Rowe means it's a share of the points. Reaction to follow on BBC Radio Surrey with Cards boss Neil Ardley, but it's finished here at the Jakeman's Community Stadium. Boston United 2, Woking 2.